If you hear a voice within you say, "You cannot paint," then by all means paint, and that voice will be silenced. This quote by Vincent van Gogh shows that art, like life, is a process of embracing imperfection and flow. And I believe that if you're just starting, watercolor is the most novel of art materials. It's portable, versatile, and easy to work with. You're not truly in control of the end result, so it's a leap of faith into art that you can confidently take because it will always have good results. In this crash course, I will show you the basics of watercolor because it's applied to journaling. So it will be a very easy technique that will introduce you to the medium, help you feel comfortable with it, and make of your journal a beautiful archive of your life by means of simple illustrations. If you haven't watched my Drawing for Beginners video, I highly recommend you watch it first so that you can do the doodles in this video with confidence. Although you can find them in many shapes like pencils, crayons, liquids, or tubes, I suggest starting with pens. Any watercolor palette will do if you're just curious or want to take it easy. Even the ones that are made for kids will do, so don't stress about brands. But if you truly want to make of watercoloring a hobby, then I do recommend investing a little more in a good palette. My first choice, and that of many artists that I follow, is this Cotman Winsor & Newton pocket set. Cotman is the affordable student-grade line that, in contrast with their professional, more expensive line, uses lower pigment concentrations, fillers, and hues for a more budget-friendly yet high-quality beginner option. This is not a sponsored video, this is the brand that I started with, and I still love and reach out for that first palette of Cotman that I got years ago. Of course, as you practice more and decide you want to try professional brands, there are endless options. But for now, this pocket palette is, in my opinion, the best choice. I got it on Amazon while it was on sale. It comes with a travel paintbrush that I love, 3 mixing palettes, and 12 watercolor pens. It's the perfect size for on the go. It fits in your pencil case, and if you carry a small pot of water, you're practically able to practice watercolor wherever you go. A good piece of advice whenever you buy a palette is to swatch the colors. The pans don't show the true color because they are concentrated pigments, so it's always best to have an idea of what your colors look like before starting. An easy way to swatch them all is using the tank paintbrush. So just grab the pigment and then start coloring a rectangular shape, swiping the brush every now and then to get a faded effect. Make sure you thoroughly wash the bristles in between colors so that you can have pure swatches. In this way, you can see all the different hues you can get and be ready to start creating. This video is meant to show you how to paint on your journal, so let's use that. Word to the wise, it's definitely best to use paper that has at least 80 GSM, which refers to the thickness. I have successfully used watercolors on it, and so anything higher than 80 will do. Try not to use thinner paper because anything you paint will wrinkle the page or even tear it. If of course you want to buy a special sketchbook for watercolors to practice and learn, you can choose from the many options within several price ranges at art stores or online. I will be using a notebook from Peter Popper Press that has 100 GSM. I also got it on Amazon. Of course, you will need a medium to fine paintbrush, also a pot glass with water, a paper towel, a clip, and a pencil. Use a light pencil, an HB or H, because it won't stand out too much. You will also need an eraser. Now, let's get started. The first, most important thing with watercolors is to break the ice, or lose the fear of ruining your page. So let's do an easy exercise that I learned from my wonderful teacher, Alina Illustra, in one of her lives. This will help you see that there's nothing to be afraid of and that it's best if you enjoy the medium and see it as playtime. Pick the colors from the palette that you like. I will be using blue and orange. Next, you want to make 2 small pools of water, one for each color. So put a drop in the watercolor pen and start mixing with the paintbrush to activate it. Use a piece of paper to swatch your colors as you mix. The less paint you add to the water, the lighter your shade will be. Add more pigment and the color becomes more intense. I usually like to work with light hues, and this is personal preference, but I love seeing the transparency of watercolor, which actually is what this medium is all about. But experiment with different saturations and pick what you like best. Once you have your 2 colors, get ready to do this fairly quickly. Dampen your brush and add a random splatter of water to your paper. Before it dries, follow immediately with a bit of blue and then a bit of orange, repeating if necessary. There is no definite pattern to it. Just play with the colors, mix them, add random dots. Can you see what happens? Wait for it to dry and be amazed at the magic of watercolors. This is what I meant by having no control over the end result. You can see how the pigment concentrates in some areas, blends in others, and there are also very light spaces. Once you have your first splatter, think about what it looks like. All shapes can become something, pretty much like finding shapes in the clouds. Once you find your hidden figure, make some pencil traces to make it come to life. And that's it. Repeat as many splatters as you like, adding more colors or using just one. The most important thing is that you have fun with it, because that is what this exercise is about. There is no way that you can make a mistake, so just let the paint and your imagination flow. Now that you're comfortable using watercolors, let's draw something precise, like a muffin you had the other day and would have loved to add a doodle to your journal. Use a reference image to remember the basic drawing steps and start with geometric shapes, a trapezoid and an oval. Detail each shape to turn them into the 2 components of the muffin, the paper liner and the top of the bread. Mark several lines to make the base look like the liner. Then make a fluffy cloud like I'm doing, and you can add tiny circles for berries and random fluffy lines for texture. To finish the sketch, use the eraser to get rid of the initial geometric figures, but also to lighten the overall pencil lines. This is achieved by putting very light pressure as you erase, almost like caressing the paper. If of course you like the look of pencil lines, just leave it as it is. Once you're done, pick your colors. I'm making this a traditional muffin, so I'm using brown, ochre, and a bit of blue for the berries. Start with a light mix to color the shapes in. Let them dry, and let me repeat this, let them dry. Yes, watercolors need you to be patient. Otherwise, you won't get the desired effect, and your colors might end up looking muddy and messy. You can even use a blow dryer or a small fan if you're not that patient, but small doodles dry fast. So once you're sure it's dry, add some details by adding more pigment to your water, and then use light, random strokes to add depth, shadows, or changing color. If you feel it still needs more detail, wait again for it to dry. For small doodles, I usually do 2 to 3 layers, and I love the results. As you see, I am finishing the top using a little bit of brown to cover the overall muffin, because this gives it like a freshly baked style, and it makes it look a bit more realistic. And congratulations! You have your first watercolor doodle. It was not hard, was it? All you have to do now is to continue to experiment with different objects and colors, and keep it simple. Remember to use your basic geometric shapes. I'm sure that the more you practice, the better you will become at it, and you will enjoy it more. Just a heads up, it can become addictive. I hope that you like this crash course with what I consider to be the watercolor basics applied to journaling doodles. It's my most favorite medium to use in my notebook pages. I not only find it easy, I think that it's personalization in its purest form. Who wants to add pre-made stickers when you can make your own with your personal touch and style? Continue to practice and challenge yourself to make one doodle every other day or daily, whatever you have time for. One of my most favorite things this year is my yearly journal, where I feature the highlight of 1 month in a 2-page spread. You have probably seen my January pages where I used a big pen to sketch and watercolors to color my doodles in. This is not only an enjoyable activity, it's documenting my life for future generations, which I think is a brilliant idea. Let me know how you plan to apply the watercolor basics that I show you in this video, or any other video ideas that you would like to see. I truly appreciate all the support, the positive comments, and you just being here. And so as usual, thank you so much for watching.